Hello and welcome to my Facebook Live. Today is day 15 of 365 days. My name is 𝘸𝘦𝘦𝘬𝘠. Welcome if you are here and you are new. So excited to have you. If you are returning and you've been watching my live streams or on YouTube, of course, as I'm loading them up there, thank you so much for being here and all the things. So say hello when you come in, or if you're watching the replay, please put #replay. So my name is 𝘸𝘦𝘦𝘬𝘠, and I am a women's relationship coach and feminine embodiment coach, as well as a ceremony facilitator. And today I want to talk to you about, I'm outside, the AC just turned on. I'm pretty sure you can hear me, but if it wasn't obvious, we're outside. So I help women have extraordinary relationships with the love of their life. I help women become the woman who is an energetic match to the one, right? I help them become that embodiment where they know without a doubt they are the one, and they are a walking frequency for that partner to come into their lives. They are the call, and the respond is putting out there, and the right man who fits her frequency, fits her harmonic frequency, goes right in there. Right? And for the women who are in relationship, who are with the love of their life, who are with the man that they're going to be with for the rest of their life, they are with the one. I help them to reignite the love and the passion and really be a woman who's in her feminine embodiment. And part of what comes with this is your sex life. And your sex life is a symptom, whether it's a good one or a bad one, or let's say a reflection of where things are in your relationship, right? And not just necessarily just where your relationship is at, but really where your own feminine embodiment is, right? Your sex life will reflect that. It will reflect your relationship with sexuality, and it will reflect where your relationship is energetically, right? Because a thriving sex life will show, and a truly thriving, I'm not talking about having a lot of sex in order to just numb the situation. I'm talking about sex where it's like, it feels like you want to have it, like you're having it because you want to have it. Or if you're not, or there's a lack of, it's really showing where there's an energetic piece, something that's missing in the relationship. And one thing that I've come to find out is that a hot and wild sex life isn't necessarily about doing something adventurous, doing something spontaneous, or doing some crazy new sex position, right? Because that's, in my opinion, sometimes it felt like that's what a really hot, wild sex life was, right? You're trying crazy new things, and you're doing sex in random places, and all of these things, right? Like you're like a young teenager. But what I've come to find out is that it's really about how into sex you are. How into it are you with your man? How into it are you with wanting to follow through with the things that you said you wanted to do, right? How into it are you while you're having it? Are you just trying to go for the orgasm so that you can get off and then he can get off and that's it, it's done? Like, are you just going for that? Or are you excited, looking forward, anticipating when your husband or your partner wakes up in the morning and you're sleeping, he grabs your favorite coconut oil or lotion or whatever it is and starts rubbing it on your thighs because you know he wants some, and he's warming you up. And instead of saying something like, fuck man, ugh, whatever, we haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna check it off, it's Friday morning, we're just gonna get this over with early in the week? Or are you like, yes, I love how he touches me, and you're really just open and receptive to his touch, right? that is what makes a hot and wild sex life, right? It's about how into it you are. And how into it you are really depends on, number one, your relationship with your sexuality and your dark feminine energy, your relationship to this. What is your relationship to your sexuality? What is your relationship to the dark feminine? Not just the enchantress, seductive archetype, which is the sexuality, but also the fire, the passion, the oracle, the shadow liberator, the alchemical queen within you that takes all anger, sadness, and all of that and alchemizes it and rebirths it into something else. How in touch are you with that fire within yourself? When you're not in touch with that and you're just staying in this good girl energy for whatever reason, in this light feminine energy, you're not embodied into this dark feminine, right? And part of that comes with the sexuality piece. It's a really important topic with women. And I do want to say that your hormones do play a part, but it's not all of it. It is not at all of it. It is just one piece of the puzzle. Because your relationship with your sexuality started by the time that you recognized your body as a woman and recognized the attention that you got from others. What was that like for you growing up? Was it an uncomfortable experience for you? Was it something that you've learned to use and to manipulate for power or to use as a validation of your worth? What was your relationship with men and sex, like in a relationship, right? What was that like? And if you ask yourself right now, what is my relationship to my sexuality? What would be the first thing that you write down? That gives you an insight of where this energy lies within you. And if you ask yourself, where is my dark feminine? Where is that fire, my relationship to my fire? Does it feel slightly dimmed? Or does it feel like it's fully like a full flame? So that is one thing that actually creates a hot and wild sex life. How into it you are, which is number one, your relationship to it. How inviting you are with sex with your man. And sex in general, not just with your man, in general. Even think about the first time you met. How did you really feel about sex? Right? The second thing is, how are you showing up in your relationship? You are the energetic frequency of the relationship, and your man responds to that, right? So how into it you are in your sex life, and how into it you are when you're having sex or intimacy with your partner, it always starts way before you even start to engage in the act of sex. And it goes with how do you show up? What is the frequency that you are showing up with your man? Hi, Grace. Are you showing up with this controlling, mothering, gotta do this, condescending, demanding energy? Or are you showing up with an open heart, with desire, with how are you communicating with your partner? Because how you communicate with your partner will 100% affect how he responds to you, right? And vice versa too. But we're taking radical responsibility of our side of the street, Because if we are the energetic frequency, if we are the heart and the pulse of a relationship, your energy fucking matters. Your energy and the intimacy that is created between you fucking matters. So if you were to ask yourself right now, how do I view my man? What is it that, what's there? And like really get radically honest. Okay, there probably are some good things, but what are the other things that you really want to say that you're not saying? That is what I want you to write down. So if you're viewing your man as this incapable person, let me tell you, how the fuck do you want to fuck someone who you think is incapable? That's not fucking hot and sexy. It's not hot and sexy. No. And how do you think he's going to respond to you? Right? If they're for every cause, there's an effect. If you're the cause, what do you think his effect is going to be? More of what you're currently receiving. Which means that if you're not feeling turned on by your man, if you're not feeling hot for him, then then you have to take responsibility of your part. That somewhere in how you're showing up into the relationship isn't creating the intimacy that you desire. So ask yourself, how am I showing up? Am I showing up neurotic, freaked out, on edge, hyper independent, over functioning, always demanding him what to do, always telling him what to do, and no matter what he does, it's never enough? Of course you don't feel hot and bothered by him, but that really depends on how you are part of the equation and how your man shows up. And the third part, in having a good and hot and wild, really being into it, which was what being into sex is what creates a hot and wild sex life, is how your man shows up and romances you, of course. But he has to want to do that for you too. Just as you want to have sex with him, he has to want to feel to romance you and to give you the thrill that you're actively desiring deep within your heart, right? So I wrote on the top of this description, like, waking him up to red, strappy, sexy 3-piece lingerie. So this is our weekend anniversary. And Friday, I think we're talking about like, yeah, you know, Friday, let's do this. And then the next day we're going to do, and I told him how I was going to wear this red, sexy lingerie for him, right? I asked him, do you want black or red? He's like, red. I'm like, okay. So Friday comes, Saturday comes, the sexy lingerie doesn't happen for various things, right? We still had our intimacy and all that. So into it, felt so good, like so dripping pleasure, like, oh my God, the orgasms, the number of orgasms and all of that, so good. Today I woke up and I was like, I haven't worn that strappy, red, sexy piece of lingerie that I said I was going to. Now I woke up first and I was like, you know what? No. I was like, you know what? I should put this on. So I go into my closet, I pick it out, go into the bathroom. He's sleeping, so then I just walk on the bed, start like walking around him, step over him, right? So when he wakes up, he sees me from a down point view up, and me in the sexy 3-piece lingerie standing over him. I didn't do much crazy. Maybe I made a little dance for him, but the bed is so squishy that it makes my muscles really hurt, like burn so much that I can't really keep up in that. And then whatever, we had our intimacy, which was really good. And I was like, you know, when my sexuality was suppressed, if I had forgotten, or quote unquote forgotten that I had, you know, that I wanted to put this on for him, I would have just let it go and not ever said anything about it and said, oops, I forgot, or made some excuse. But this time I like really wanted to follow through on what I said because I wanted to want him. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't in resistance with sex. I wasn't in resistance with my sexuality. I wasn't in resistance to him, because I've really healed and continue to heal and continue to exalt my relationship with my sexuality. I continue to have my own feminine practices that connect me with my sacred sexual anatomy, right? I continue to be in my own sexual energy for me. Period. End of story. How I show up in my relationship and how I communicate with my man, how I view him, my perception of him, everything matters. And I know when I show up into the relationship, I'm really intentional with where my frequency is. Am I in my feminine embodiment when I speak to him? Am I speaking to him through a place of desire? Am I speaking to him through a place of vulnerability? Am I speaking him to in a place of like, I really want this, flirty desire? And when need to, I can tell him when my fire needs to, when my dark feminine really needs to come out in terms of that fire, because he's upset me about something. I can very clearly activate that without having to micromanage what I say or try to sound like I'm trying to negotiate something. It is very boom there. I take responsibility for my frequency and how I show up in the relationship, because I know how much it affects my man and what he does for me, right? And how my man shows up for me is so on point, and he's always working on becoming a better and better man from him, for me, and for us. So of course I want to put on a sexy 3-piece lingerie and wake him up and follow through on my word when I told him for our anniversary weekend that I was going to wear it. Right? I wanted to do that. I wasn't in resistance to doing that. I didn't say, oh, whatever, oopsies, I forgot, which is what I would have done before when I didn't have these 3 things into place. Which is why I created this 2-week challenge for you called Dripping Pleasure. Dripping Pleasure is a 2-week challenge that has 10, I'm gonna give you 10 transmissions, 10 activating transmissions, and each one of those transmissions is going to give you a daily challenge for you to do to start gently opening up your sexuality, to gently start really activating this sacral chakra energy, this dark feminine energies, this embodiment with your own eros, this embodiment with your own body as a woman, that you probably haven't had a relationship with your body that is sacred and that is holy and innocent. And we're going to work on how you show up in your relationship. If you're in your relationship, if you're single, welcome. This is also for you. Because it's how you show up now for yourself and how you show up to potential suitors and all of that so matters, and 100% reflects how your man responds to you, and how this co-creation of love that you're having, this co-creation of intimacy in the bedroom, always starts with the intimacy outside of the bedroom. 100% always starts there. So it's going to be so much fun. I have prizes for the women who are inside as well. This is a paid challenge because I really want this to be for the women who want to be there. I want the women who are in this challenge to participate in this challenge. When you give free stuff, half the people don't show up. Half the people go in, 100% of the people sign up. 50% of those people will actually go into your Facebook, Telegram, whatever it is, and then half of that will actually do the challenge. So when you pay for something, you're going to be more in it. You're going to be more of like, okay, I put my money into it. Even if it's $50, I put my money into it. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up and play. I want you to come play. I want you to come feel pleasure. I want you to feel juicy in your own body, just for you to feel fulfilled in your own enchantment of your sexual energy. It's nothing to be suppressing. There's nothing to fear when you learn how to safely release this and learn how to heal the areas that you intentionally probably suppressed it. For valid reasons too. Now you are in a safe space to express that. So I want to help you walk through that. So the link is in the descriptions. We start May 20th. And come play. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. I would love to talk to you more about it and answer any of the questions that you have. We're gonna have such an awesome time. And if when you join live, you are going to get, we're gonna have a private chat room for these 14 days of coaching for your relationships and your sex life and your intimacy, because I want you to get the most out of it. So for $50, it's a fucking steal. It is a no-brainer, and I made it a no-brainer because I want you to experience what that feels like to start being in your own eros for you and for you as a woman. It's you feel more whole when all parts of you are awakened and liberated, when not one part of you is suppressed. I remember when Ron and I had this reignited day in our relationship. It was the day that we reignited. We had this transcendental sexual experience. This came from me actively working on my own sacred sexuality, how I showed up in my relationship and how he showed up in the relationship as well, right? And it came to a peak on this specific day. It was during the eclipse in 2022 in April, and I think there was like a full moon or a new moon in Libra, which plays a lot in relationships. And after that sexual experience with him, that transcendental experience that I had with him, the only word that I kept repeating to myself was, I feel liberated. I feel liberated, 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 liberated. And that's what you can experience when you start to liberate your sexuality and no longer suppress it. There was a reason you suppressed it. It no longer needs to be suppressed, and I want to help you liberate it. And that's what we're going to do in Dripping Pleasure. So come join, ask your questions, and if you have any questions, and I hope to see you there on the 20th. We're going to have so much fun, and it's going to be so gentle and easy that you're going to be like, oh my God, why didn't I start this earlier? You're going to feel so connected with yourself, so alive in your body. Like, you're going to be just magnetic. You're going to feel your own magnetism. You're going to feel your own juicy, thriving energy, right? I'm so excited for this. So click the link, come join us, $50, that's it. Come for the 2 weeks of coaching inside as well. That's priceless in itself. And have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. I'm still wearing the tag. I wear the tags until I decide if I like this shirt or not, but I like this one. I'm going to take it off. All right. Bye.